Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. My name is Jose, I am a Golden in Kendo, and today we're going to be watching some Kendo videos, talking about Kendo, answering your questions if you have any. So let me know that you're here by saying hello or just leaving a like to the video or to the stream because it really helps the channel. I'm sorry that I haven't been streaming for a little while. I had some things that were taking a lot of my time and I couldn't find my groove to get into the stream, but I'm back here. So I want to say thank you very much for all the members of the stream of the channel that keep supporting the channel, and everybody that keeps tuning in, sending me messages and watching the videos. Thank you very much. If you would like to become a member of the channel, I'm going to put the link up in here. Aisha, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. And Silas, thank you very much for passing by from Brazil. Awesome, guys. If you can, please take a second, hit the like button. Really helps the channel to get pushed out to more people. Anyway, so sometimes when I stop streaming for more than 1 week, I feel like I get out of my groove and I forget a lot of things. I just realized I forgot my keyboard here, so it's okay. I can manage. Okay, so let me tell you the plan for today's stream. I picked 2 videos that have to do with Jigeiko, and I'll tell you why in a second. But the main thing that I want to study is how to approach Jigeiko in order to improve our Kendo, and to, even though that you're not doing Jigeiko like as a competition, what elements can you take from your regular practice that are applicable to your competition, and discuss a little bit of the way of how to train, how to approach your daily practice at the dojo so you can become better in your Kendo, not only for competitions, but in general for your Kendo. Jan, welcome from Fukuoka. Man, I have a break in a couple of days, but my mom's coming over, so I might not be able to make it over there. I was gonna message you actually today, but I'll message you after. So thank you very much for tuning in and saying hello. Really appreciate it. Okay, so without further ado, let's see if I didn't mess up anything today. Let's go to the... Okay, I guess I did mess up something. Okay, right here. Okay, perfect. Okay, this is kind of small. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me readjust this. Get a little bit bigger. Okay, perfect. Jan, yeah, she's going to have a blast. Have a couple of plans, so that will be awesome. Fernando, saludos, ¿cómo estás? Gracias por pasar por aquí. Okay, guys, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about, I want to do a stream with the members from some of the videos that I have taken for my practice and stuff like that. But I want to tell you a little bit about what my goal has been for this past few, maybe months, and what I'm training here in Japan and what I'm trying to get out of my practice. And the main thing that I'm trying to understand is how to approach my partner in order to get an opening, right? To make a reaction. And I kind of want to make a video and break this up a little bit. But the idea here is that I want to try to come in and not back up, like not back off, don't go back. I don't want to come in with kind of like a feint, but instead I kind of want to communicate to my opponent that I am coming in. So to create this pressure, this tension in that moment that will cause my opponent to either attack or, back off, cover up, and so on. So I can start understanding what is it that I can do to make my opponent, react. And this is the main thing that I kind of want to talk about on the videos that we're going to watch today, because a lot of times when you're practicing this, you do get hit a lot, so then people tend to get discouraged and keep practicing this thing, and it kind of stops a little bit the progress of your Kendo. So sometimes we have to kind of brush that off and try to do it as an approach to improve our Kendo. So I think it will make more sense as we start watching the videos. But anyways, what I wanted to do, I want to play some of this stuff and talk about what is it that it's happening and what are some of the things that normally we try to do in our practice and how we fail or we succeed at this. Okay, let me know if you guys get good volume here. So I'm actually working on a video about distance, about the engagement with your opponent. And I'm going to say this. Many times when I see people starting Jigeko, they start the engagement way too close. But if you notice what's happening here, they're starting pretty much right by the swords where the swords are touching, but they were ready slightly before that. So you have this distance that a lot of times goes wasted by starting the engagement here. So we'll keep watching. So now I want to point out that how little movement has there been, but now the distance is a little bit closer, right? And a lot of that has to do on how the footwork is being used, and a little bit of how they're trying to understand each other, how to try to build up the pressure. So if you notice anything interesting here, let me know. So this is a very, very interesting approach. Actually, let me go back a little bit further. I'm going to say this. Normally, when we're practicing or when we're doing competition, being this still could get you in trouble, right? And I feel that for me, what it looks like is that the person on the right, which I'm going to guess is the sensei or his instructor in this exchange, he looks more like he's more in control, that he's is controlling the rhythm of what's going to happen, and the person on the left is trying to figure out when is the right time for him to come in. So as you notice, as you will see, the footwork a little bit back. Let me go back a little bit. So there's a lot of communication there between the swords, but there's nothing like, pushing off, whatever. It's just trying to understand and try to take the center, but without any excessive motion. Now, notice what happened here. Person in the right. Person in the right goes, I see some comments, I'll read them in a second, guys. Person on the right is going backwards, but not really going backwards, right? If you look at the right foot staying in place, and the weight is kind of being shifted, so he's kind of a little bit releasing the tension that he built up, and a lot of times this kind of works as a way to re-engage into the tension. So a lot of times when we take a step in Kendo, we move both feet, right? Like this is considered to be one step when you move both feet, but it's okay in certain exchanges to do half a step, where you're going to maybe do half a step to kind of start creating that motion, and then push in for that attack, or you can readjust the foot. Or you can readjust the foot to then attack. You can vary the way how you approach the footwork. So this is something that again takes a lot of practice, but something useful to be working on. Now, so if you notice, person on the right did a little bit of a motion forward, and I feel this is a way to kind of get a reaction trend, not only to get a reaction, but understand maybe how the opponent is. Is the opponent being very jumpy? Is it being very cautious? What's happening? So this wasn't enough to get a reaction. So he didn't do anything. He kind of just retreated back that pressure, readjusted his front foot. I'm going in slow motion, sorry guys. And then you see immediately re-engages the pressure. We cannot see the back foot, but you have to be sure that he has his back foot pushing him forward to keep that ability to explode forward if he needs to, right? Now, person on the left decides to try to come in and get a reaction. He doesn't get anything, so he kind of gets scared and backs off. Right, let me just go a little bit, maybe like this. Now, even though there was no contact because he missed, I like to study these exchanges, right? Like what caused what. And this is kind of what I'm overthinking at the dojo right now. And if you look at it, the person on the right is stepping in. He is giving that pressure forward, and he makes the person on the left say, I have to do something. So he goes. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get his sword around to go for the kote. I think it was a good opportunity to go for the kote, but the attack, the main attack, was completely reactive to the motion of right. So maybe if this will be a tournament, and this is why I'm saying that a lot of times it's dangerous to do this type of approach during Shiai, but it's something that will develop the ability to see what can the opponent do, or what will the opponent do based on what you're doing. So the opponent came in for a man, but it was provoked. It wasn't that he was just standing still and the person on the left came in to attack. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. I'm still trying to make sense out of this on my own practice, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about it in a minute. Yeah, so you're saying, yeah, especially in Shinsa, skipping Shokuji no Mae is a no-go, for sure. Yes, you definitely don't want to start the engagement so far in. And a lot of times what ends up happening is that when people are trying to get a reaction in here, as a matter of fact, if in this exchange, they were quite close when he got that. Even though he's coming with distance, this is another thing that why you want to use that early distance, is because as you're coming in, you're able to see a reaction from the opponent, but you also have more chances of being able to avoid getting stuck in a, like into or being deflected just from any little motion. And here, because he came in a little bit too close, it was a little bit harder for him to get over the sword, and his opponent had a little bit of time too. But that being said, the man was provoked rather than he just waited to go for a kote, or rather than the man being something that the person on the left provoked. So if you watch it, kind of like the attitude where the person on the right comes in, watch it for 1 second. Right, like he comes with confidence, right? Like he comes and throws it. Yes, he missed. I feel that at the same time, like he's also the sensei, so he's maybe, showing more confidence because of that. But the thing is that maybe the ippon went to the person on the left, but he only was able to get that, let's say, because the person on the right didn't get the sword around. But if he would have done that, he definitely would have caught that kote before he had the opportunity to hit the man. And the idea is this, that when you're doing specifically techniques like ojiwasa, debanawasa, and things like this, you want to anticipate that motion by you creating that pressure rather than just waiting. So let me finish reading some of those questions. There are teachers, Jan, you're saying that there are teachers, however, who intentionally put you there to make you uncomfortable and withdraw. Yes, exactly. That's very interesting. To make you withdraw, and a lot of times just to make you attack as well. To make you attack and miss as well, right? Like to make you like go around, so you're able to, they're able to deflect and making you keep going and going and going, just to kind of like maybe teach you how to deal with that pressure. As a matter of fact, in one of the dojos where I'm practicing right now, there's this guy that he always fights so close. It's like he just rushes in. And for me, especially now where I'm trying to figure out how to build up pressure, I find it annoying. I found it annoying in the first probably like month and a half, right? But then at one point I said, okay, there has to be a way to deal with this. Like, let me see what other people that I like their kendo, what they're doing. And a lot of times he kind of look like a karigeiko, and they're completely just overwhelming him. So it's interesting to see the approach that they take about this type of kendo. And for me, it's kind of one of those things like you always got to remember you have an opportunity to learn on every exchange. So yeah, so definitely I need to kind of like stop being greedy and working what I want to work and just adapt to everybody's Kendo as well. Silas, you're saying that you're training this at the baiting, as the baiting for the bana. Okay, so that's one of the things. I don't like to say baiting for this type of approach. And maybe it's me just being like picky on vocabulary, but the reason why I don't like to say baiting is because I feel that when you're baiting, you're kind of waiting for that thing to happen. The feeling that I'm trying to have when I'm doing this during Jigeiko, again, maybe the approach for Kihon can be a little bit different, but during Jigeiko, I want to feel and I want my opponent to feel that when I approach, I'm gonna come in. So either he attacks or he backs off or he covers. So whether my opponent comes for men for me to do degote, for example, I want my opponent to feel that I am coming in. So I don't know. Does that make sense? I hope the idea went through. So I don't like to say baiting because I want to make sure that I'm not waiting. And a lot of the times, it's interesting because there are some senseis that what I'm practicing right now that they'll come in and they kind of start pushing forward, right? But they don't do anything. They know and this is the cool thing about the way I'm training this, especially with the senses, is that I'm always attacking men, right? I'm trying to always go for men. Try to get them to either attack and cover, whatever, just so I can go for the men. The idea here is that when I'm always going for men, a lot of times the senses already know that I'm coming for men. So sometimes they go like, come in, they're not coming in, and they step in more, and then I'm forced to go, and they do Kaeshido, right? So it's interesting to see that, you know, even when they know I'm coming in, they're trying to draw me out as well. So it's a very cool. For me right now, it's been allowing myself to get hit more and more, and it's been like a very revealing experience. There you go. Sorry, my words are out of there. Let me catch up with some comments. Gas, yeah. Gas. Oh, okay. You thought I burned to the... No. Yes, and it's very hot here, actually. Jan, how is the weather down in Fukuoka? Today and just yesterday, I went to Kyoto for practice at the Kyoto Budo Center. And let me tell you, when I got out of the train, I was like, am I in an oven? Or like, what is this? It's crazy. And it's very humid. It's horrible. And today I went to a practice that is super long, and like it's so hot that like many people didn't go to the practice today. And at the end, I was just like, you know, just moving out of like the wind pushing me because it's too bad, too hot. Guys, you got second Dan last week. Congratulations, bros. Congratulations. Hope we get to practice together sometime soon, man. Silas, more like actively causing a reaction and not responding to one. The baiting word was a bad choice. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad choice. Don't think I'm putting the vocabulary down. I'm just saying I don't like to think about it as baiting because baiting can also be useful, especially in tournament, right? But I feel that when you're baiting and being reactive, you're not really in control of what could happen or when it could happen. So it's something that it's a fine line. Both of them can even look similar at points, but the main thing for me is just the mentality that I want to try to build up that pressure. But for example, like if I am doing a Shiai type of training, this is something that I actually went through in a practice that I did, I feel like last month, where we were doing Shiai, and getting out of that mentality was hard for me during the Shiai practice. So it's something that when you are in the Shiai, you don't think about this stuff, right? But I do notice that when I'm doing like Shiai style practice, or we're doing like Ippon Shabu, I, I I try to not think so much about what I'm doing and just try to go. And I notice that I am able to recognize the patterns and to use my body more consciously rather than just throwing myself for a technique and just, hope for the best. So that gets us a main point that I'm trying to make with today's stream. Jan, you're saying it's hot, but you went to Kendo practice this morning without AC. How was that? Did you like what I'm doing right now is that I'm freezing bottles of either, like a sports drink or water. And by the time I'm in the practice, I can drink, because like a whole like 2 liter bottle, like it gets melted like by the end of the practice. Guys, you're in Korea. Dry sauna. Well, you know what? I think I prefer the dryness over the humidity. So yeah. Yeah, the humidity, like, man, like I'm telling you, like, it's like I look like I come out of the pool. Like, for me, walking 15 minutes outside, I look like I just came out of a pool. I got this spray that supposedly makes your clothes cool. Doesn't work. I got this thing that has like fans and stuff. That doesn't work. The next one I'm going to try, they have like this like ice thing that you put in your neck. I don't know, like will make you feel fresher, but I don't think it's gonna do anything against the sweat, right? Anyways. Okay, yeah, and that's cool. It's cool to watch. Actually, I was thinking about you today because the practice that I did today has a lot of kids and they were doing a lot of games. So yeah, like I actually wanted to send you some thoughts on, because we talked a lot about kids practice and stuff like that. So I'll remember to send that. Aoi Sagara, can you talk about using left hand to control your small man? When do you use right hand to apply ooh. Okay, I want to make a video about this, but I guess I can, because you guys are here, I can spill the beans. Give me 1 second. I need to get a snack. Okay, actually, okay, can you guys see my whole screen? Sorry guys, I don't have a monitor right now, so like I'm working out of an iPad. Let's see. Okay, so today something interesting happened, and is that today and last week in practice, I had 2 senseis tell me 2 different things about the same topic, one in front of the other. So I started, thinking about it, right? Like I'm thinking, they're extremely contradicting themselves, and a lot of times, that can cause confusion. But I'm started thinking, okay, is there an effectiveness on this? Is there an effectiveness on this other way? So let me share the one that today was a little bit kind of weird, but I'll share it. So normally how when you're doing kata, you're holding the kodachi and the daito like together like this, right? So a sensei today told me to, how was it? Yeah, to grab him like this, right? So I think it looks cooler when you're holding it, because like they're one on top of the other, but it looks so awkward on the side, like on the way you're grabbing it. But so literally one sensei like saw me grabbing it normally, like I normally do, like I'm grabbing it like this, you're going around, and he stopped me and said like, no, this is not how you do it. This is how you do it, right? Like you grab it like this with like 2 fingers on the bottom and 2 fingers on the top, and like on top of each other, right? But then another sensei came and said like, no, that's not how you do it. Like, so it was funny. So I'm saying that as an anecdote to like share a little bit of the controversy. But left and wait, hold on, let me just make sure, guys. I'm sorry, because like I definitely need a monitor, man, because I cannot see a lot of the okay, now I can see. Okay, Jan, you're saying that it was okay for you to practice. you were saying, and okay, you were talking about the games on the for the kids. Daito Suba should be on top of the Shoto Suba. Yes. Okay, sorry, I'm doing it with the small shinai, so like I just did it quickly. Yes, in both cases, the Daito. I guess I don't have a Suba here, but anyways, in both cases, the Daito should be on the top. But what I'm saying is that the other way, instead of having the Balkans like side to side, they were like on top of each other, so it looked kind of cool the way that he was holding it. Maybe I'm not representing it properly. It looked cool when he was holding it. That's what I mean. But again, another sensei came and said like, no, it's not like that. Anyways, okay. Anyways, what I wanted to share is that last week I was in a practice, and let me see if you can see. Okay, so I think for a while there was this trend where you want to make the men as compact as possible, and so it can be quick and effective, right? And this is done by pushing with the left hand forward and then snapping the tenouchi at the end. Now, I don't like to say that you push with your right hand down on the shinai, but I kind of see it more like this is as support. The right hand does push forward as it's going into a technique, and then at the very end, it does the sharp stop, and this way allows you to throw the tip fast forward. Maybe the impact is not good. I mean, it's not as strong, but definitely it's a fast way of doing it. And a lot of times people tend to do this type of men where it kind of just slides in. This is bad. You want the impact at the end, right? So you do have to push with the left and then get that raise of the tip to then pull back and snap the tenouchi with the right hand. The beginning motion, yes, you do push forward, but you want to raise the tip and then cut down. One of the senseis when I was in the practice was telling me to do men like this, right? And he was doing men on me over and over and just like, catching me every single time. And then on the same practice, another sensei said to do it completely different, to actually bring the tip up and then bring it forward. So in both cases, you're using the left hand to start the motion, and in both cases, you're not pulling with the right hand. So that's why I want to make a video about this, because maybe I need to show a little bit more details. But the main thing here is that the two different ways, like to raise the tip before or to wait towards the end to raise the tip, can have a little bit of a different advantages and disadvantages during Jigeiko. Because when you have the tip forward like that, especially when you're close, it can be very effective into catching somebody before they have the time to raise the hands. So you can get a man, for example, without them being able to raise the hands or before they raise the hands. It could also be very effective when you're doing kote, like very, very compact on top of the shinai, and to hit it, very, very useful there. But for example, challenging the man, if you're coming in here and your opponent is able to raise the tip up, it's gonna be very hard for you to overcome this area of the shinai, and they can cut into yours. So pretty much what I'm trying to figure out at this point is when and how to use each different one, because I do see the advantage of being able to do both, but at the same time I know that when you're learning, you have to choose one, I guess, just to figure out how to do it, and then I think you can develop the other. But for both, I think the beginning is very similar, where you push with your left hand and the right hand does not pull back. Let me just read the question again. when do you use the right hand to apply tenouchi? And to apply tenouchi, you apply the tenouchi with the right hand. I do, at least, when the sword it's at this point, right? Like whether it is here or where it's here, I'm doing, for me, tenouchi does this, right? So I'm just squeezing my fingers to bring the tip down. Yeah. So I'm just, squeezing. Don't open the fingers like this, right? Like, it's not to open them like this. I'm just showing it, right? The shinai should be, your grip should be the same, but when you're pushing here, you're kind of pressing against the pinky. Actually, I made a video about this. You can, I think, maybe just put the tenouchi on my channel and you'll see that. But once you're pushing here, then you squeeze to bring the tip down. And you can do it with both hands. So let me catch up with Jan's comment. Please, always in favor of more games. Okay, this is exactly what you're working on the last 5-ish years. Which part? Oh, and there's another one, guys. If you guys have a, please don't copy this. And if you haven't, please hit the like button. It really helps the stream. But I have a friend of mine that he came last month. We went to practice together and he was talking to me about some of the advice that senseis were giving him. And one that he heard was to hold the shinai. Oh, hold on, let me make sure that I'm in the right place. To hold the shinai like to the very end here, with like the pinky like half out of the shinai. And to me, when I first heard it, I was like, this is weird. This is uncomfortable because I see that these two fingers are the ones providing power, right? But maybe a week and a half ago, one person from one of the dojos was showing me, because I asked him, like, can you show me your kamae? How do you hold your sword and stuff like this? And actually I was talking to a couple of people. One person actually he told me that he holds the shinai like this, right? Like he's holding the shinai like barely on his fingers, just to make sure that he's relaxed. And then when he ever needs to, to put pressure, then he grabs in or whatever. This is how he's doing it. I'm not saying do this. And this other guy was telling me to also use it, put the finger back here for the same reason, to be a little more relaxed. So this week I tried it on every practice, and how do I say this? I do notice a little bit more of the relaxation, but at the same time, you have to be very mindful that you're not letting go of the sword. But I think the main reason for me that it does it is because it allows me to have a little bit of extra space between my hands. So I don't know if you guys, maybe you cannot tell, but this Tsukagawa is extremely short. I actually got this one shortened especially just to try it out. I was thinking of making a video about it, but yeah, like I'm not using short Tsukagawa at all anymore. I'm on a regular one. I'm gonna try next a little bit longer than the ones that I have, just because I do feel that a little bit of that separation gives me a little bit, for my kendo, gives me a little bit more relaxation on my arms. I'm not too stiff on my shoulders, and I feel like I can move the tip of my sword a little bit better. But experiment and let me know what you guys think. So yeah. Aoi, you're welcome. If you have any further questions, yeah, please let me know. That's what I'm here for. Jan, you're saying you were talking about different kinds of men with different kinds of backswing motions against different opponents. Yes, and I'm trying to record when is each more effective. So I do find that for me, when I see it and when I perform it, that pushing forward style of men is most effective when you're close. It's very effective when you're doing kote, even if it's far, because you don't want to raise up too much and kind of just come in directly. For me, I also find it very effective when you're doing kote men, right? Because you do pop, right? Like extend it and then go directly into the men in this case. But if the person is coming to challenging your men, if the person is doing that straightforward man, every time, all you have to do is just literally, as a matter of fact, I'm sure that you guys have this happen to you where you feel that you're faster than somebody else, but for some reason you cannot get that man. Maybe they're kendo, they're beginners or whatever, and they're raising the hand, so they're doing this big motion, and you're like, why can I not get the man if I'm doing it small and he's doing it big? Most of the times I notice that it's because of this, because they raise up, and by the time that they're here, there's no entry. There's no entry here, because even sometimes they even bring it even higher, and like they get the suba, you get the arms, you cannot get that. At this point, it's better to either do the backswing style, or do like I wouldn't even say kaishido, because even sometimes the timing is weird. Just go for nukido. Another thing is that you have to aim for that man, right? Like you cannot. I don't have like a little. Okay, guys, one second. I need like a Kendo dummy to show this, right? So I'm just gonna use this banana here. If the person is swinging up here, you have to aim into the proper target, which will be right here with your shinai, because as they're coming down, you can also come down and then overcome it and hit the men. If you're coming in here, you cannot get it before they actually deflect you. And if you don't aim properly, then what's going to happen is that both of you get out of the center. So yeah, that's the. It's hard. It's hard. I'm thinking about making a video about this. I'm still what's it called, gathering data. So I'm sorry if it's kind of like whack the way I'm saying it. Please feel free to ask questions. César, saludos desde el dojo de San Marco en Lima. Un gran saludo, por favor, me le da saludo a toda la gente de Perú, que los quiero mucho y espero verlos pronto. Jan, you're saying sorry for spamming the chat. No, don't be sorry, man. That's also cool. Yeah, I know. It's pretty late for us here, so it's all good. Okay, let's keep going with this video so that way we can talk about more of what we're talking about. So this exchange for me shows the importance of always having a forward intention towards the opponent, and this is kind of one of the goals that I want to have for my own kendo. Never back off. So if you notice, look what the person on the left is doing and look at the response from right. So we see the person on the left is trying to get a reaction, trying to move the shinai out, but instead of tensing up, person on the right is actually relaxing, right? But still engaged. Even though that his sword is down, you see his body posture is going forward, his eyesight is to the opponent, and the opponent decides to go for kote, and very relaxed, he's able to deflect it. And when he gets the opportunity, he comes in and throws a technique. So if you're in the mindset of you're going backwards, that you're trying to hold yourself back, a lot of times doing this will take a lot of effort, because it's not gonna come out naturally. So you have to always have that feeling that you're coming in regardless of what happens, regardless of what your opponent's going to do, because that way you have your body and your mind ready to just throw when you see an opportunity. Hope that makes sense. Oh, you had another question. You're struggling with the Suriyagawasa. How are you controlling the shinai to snap and strike without moving in the right hand much? I'll talk about it in a second. Let me talk about a couple points here, and I'll go back to that. That's another video that I'm planning on making. I'm also gonna say this, I've been having trouble finding people to record with and space to record with, because a lot of times at dojos is a little bit sensitive to recording, especially when there are kids and things like that. So I'm struggling a little bit with that, but I'm working on that, guys. I really am. This to me was a very good entry coming from the guy on the left. He came in and he took a step in, then he went for a technique for kote men, and the way he did it, I think it was very smooth, very relaxed, but at the same time very explosive. So watch it one more time. The most important part with this is that he got his opponent to react. He got his opponent to cover up on one side. And I think this is one of the reasons why I say that for this brief moment, he had control. And that ability and developing that ability only comes from you going in forward. If you're waiting for the opponent, if you're always trying to bait the opponent, having the skill to recognize these moments, it's a little bit harder to get. So always try to come in and try to figure out when is the opening, where's the opening, and just go. A lot of times, even not even thinking about this stuff and just attacking is more beneficial, because that way you have at least the experience of seeing it and feeling it, so you can understand why you failed. You can ask yourself, why was this not successful? Why did I make it on this one? And you can start naturally also developing this pressure and exchange with your partner. So notice from here how the distance is being controlled and how the pressure started and slightly, watch. So they're coming in here and they're both kind of just having that forward intention. Person on the left is playing a little bit with the pressure. Oh, sorry. Is playing a little bit with the pressure by moving the body forward, by stepping slightly forward, by bringing the back foot back. You know, all these things are skills that you can develop by experimenting with your partner and different ways of using your body to get a reaction. So try these things at the dojo. But I will say pick one. Don't just go for like all of them, you know, in one practicing, because then you really don't get like the essence. Try one, you know, try a couple times, try something different the next one, and so on. So this one, and I'm gonna answer your question after this one. This one is very interesting because he came in and there was no reaction from the sensei, right? It kind of like he decided to go and it was like, okay, I'm coming in. And he just threw the technique forward. Sensei, it's like, even though that he made contact, again, there would have been a shiai, maybe he gets the ippon, but I think the communication from the sensei here is, this was not the opening that you're looking for. Because again, this is practice to improve their kendo rather than just to get an ippon. You're looking to develop, how can I get an opening? And again, these are all skills that you're going to need, I think, for like, you know, later ranks. I think at the earlier ranks is a little bit hard to start working on this stuff when you're still trying to develop your technique, but definitely something you want to pay attention when you're approaching your opponent during your Jigeiko. Let me know what you think about that. Yeah, that'll be something very interesting to talk about. Okay. I'm gonna try to do it with one little shinai so I don't break anything around here. But oh, you're asking me how am I controlling the shinai to snap and strike without moving the right hand too much? Okay, so, and the reason why I wanted to make a video about this is because there's many ways for many different occasions. So early on, I was talking about that type of swing of the sword where like the sword doesn't go back too much, right? It comes in directly, right? So let's think about it in the kote. So this way is very easy. Is very easy to deflect on this type of motion, right? Like where the right hand is moving this way, and like it's almost like I'm like twisting the wrist and squeezing the finger slightly, and then after that, what you should do is bring the hands in to snap again, right? So it's kind of like it's like squeeze, relax, squeeze. Pop. So it comes in like this. The main thing, especially, okay, let me do this part with the regular shinai. Okay, let me see. The main thing here is that when you're trying to execute suriage, is that the tip stays on the center as much as possible. So even if I'm snapping my wrist to the side, I'm trying to keep the tip on the center. I am blocking the target, but I am keeping the tip on the center. So then I can, retake the center and strike. So this is one way of doing the suriage motion, right? Where like you're kind of like doing like this like semicircle motion with the sword. Now, there's another way you can do it where it's more of a slap and it's by kind of like this motion, but it's not just this motion. It's kind of this motion combined with this motion, so it kind of looks like this. So, right? Kind of, it's like I'm slapping in, and when I'm doing this motion, my sword, my arms, everything are lined up already to do my technique. So again, just like having different ways of swinging your sword, having different ways of doing this also is beneficial, because for example, when somebody's doing the type of technique where when like what's it called? Oh my god, sorry, I lost my words. When somebody has like a very strong center that coming in for men, for example, uh, you're gonna need sometimes that a little bit of a stronger slap to get them out, rather than slide in, right? So it's just two motions, but I think with practice you need to understand when is better to use. For me, using this semicircle out here, it's better when they're coming in for the kote that is like kind of like very straight, because the arms are extending. So as the arm are extended, it's harder to have control on your sword. If the arms are too close, like that tends to be a little bit harder. So you need a little bit of a stronger motion. Also, when the opponent is coming in a little bit too much on the side like this, also this becomes a little bit more effective because you are also kind of like removing the target. You might get hit on the fist, but but you also have to be careful with that, because sometimes judges will call that as an ippon as well. But you're removing that. But if you're doing this type of thing, if you're doing this type of motion to the right when the shin is kind of coming to the side, a lot of times you don't even make it. And same thing is, I don't think suriage is very effective against when the sword is coming from underneath, unless you kind of do it this way. But at that point, maybe you want to do just another like a kote in front. But the main thing is that to avoid moving the right hand too much is to use the left hand, right? So if you're going to do the slap, and it's like a tenouchi as well here, right? Like you do a little bit of tenouchi at the end, so, and you combine it with the upward motion, and you can have a little bit more control. You don't want to do this like pull and push, and you can do this type of motion as well, right, left, but practice it always keeping the tip in the center as much as possible as you do these motions. Does that make sense? Guys, if you haven't, make sure you hit the like button. Also, for anybody that is not there already, we have a Discord server that you can pass by, join it. It's completely free. If you have any questions, you can also send me messages there. And if you would like to support the channel, check out the membership link, because you can become a member, support the channel, and get some extra perks your way. Okay, picture in picture right here. Okay, perfect. So you see what the person on the left is doing, the sensei in this case. He's closing the distance, but he's not committing to a technique. At the same time, he's keeping his back foot engaged. He's not just putting all his weight forward and forgetting about the back leg. Because if his opponent comes in, he can push us forward, but at the same time, he has the flexibility and ability to go backwards. This one, I think is one of the cool ones. So, give me 1 second. Let me make sure that everything here. Okay. So you see that the first thing he does is to approach the opponent to set up for the Kaeshido. He's not waiting. He's coming in. Now, in this case, he did 2 motion on the Kaeshido, right? Like he blocked up and then came down, which it's okay based on the timing that he got from his opponent. The main thing is that his commitment never left. He always came in, approaching the opponent, making sure that he wasn't just waiting for the sword to come in. He was closing the distance, and I'm sure if there would have been another opening, he probably would have taken it as well. So don't stop and wait for the opponent to come in order for you to do an ojiwaza. Let's watch one more time. Very cool and very sharp. Let me see how it makes sense. Interesting how it relates to the previous topic. You had a sensei recently tell you to use the left hand to slide and break kamae rather than using the right hand to stick fight. So I'm not sure what the advice and what context the advice was given. For what I'm understanding is to not, don't push in with the right hand. And this is true, I think, for any technique that we're doing in Kendo. You don't push in like that. You do push the hand forward, but you don't push down into the sword. So you do have to use the left hand to create power, and the right hand is pretty much like the guide for it, right? Or fine tuning as well, because a lot of times you do put a little bit of power on it, but special cases as well. Jen, you're saying the channel Jen Kendo has some good videos about Suriage Waza. One you like particularly, but it seems you got deleted. I don't know what they're doing, because I know they're doing a lot of stuff that they want you to pay for some of the stuff. So I think they just release a little bit and then they take it back. So I am glad now that they're doing a lot of stuff with newer stuff, right? Like they're creating new content. But so yeah, but definitely search a couple of different what's it called? Not only instructional videos, but try to find good examples of Suriage. I think what was it? I think there's like a basics of Takanabe Sensei, that video where he does Suriage as well. They show it in different angles. So all this stuff, and when Jan is saying is good, you should copy the Japanese the hiragana. I click hiragana and kanji there, but the Japanese writing, because this way you can get a lot more results than if you just type regular letters. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, guys, sorry, my computer's. I thought I plugged my computer. Give me 1 second, guys. See, I'm telling you, when I don't stream, now what should I? Okay. When I don't stream for more than 1 week, I forget like the most basic stuff. Jen, you're saying perhaps it's not deleted but vanished behind the paywall. Yeah, like I don't know, like I don't know what they're doing. So I've seen a lot of good stuff, and uh, you know, they're having good content there. I'm glad that they're making more accessible for non-Japanese speakers. Um, but I don't think that they quite have their organization of content quite figured out yet. So I think they're working on some of the stuff. So I think that's why they take stuff away and they put them here and blah blah blah. I'm going to share a personal problem that I have on my footwork. And well, Jan, you're here, so you probably make a lot of fun of me because I overly focus on footwork. And one of the biggest things for me is because I feel that I had a lot of stiff, and I still do, stiff footwork. And sometimes maybe the engagement is not right, where I feel that actually this past month, my main theme has been that I feel that I'm getting tired, not because I'm not able to do it, but I feel that I'm putting power or force where I shouldn't. So I've been trying to find a more relaxed way of executing my footwork and my technique and my kendo in general. But I personally, when I do something like what the person on the right is going to do, let's take that big step in, a lot of times I don't feel like I have as much control. And what I find out for me is that when I do these long steps, a lot of times I tend to forget about how my back foot is engaged. So always pay attention to your back foot. You see how he pulls pressure forward? And as he does that, look at the back foot. Normally, when we do this and we're trying to put that pressure on the forward foot to bait the person, a lot of times you're gonna see the person's heel goes up and the knee kind of just goes down because they lose the engagement of the back leg. So here, I feel that he's in a good position to attack, maybe not as far as he would have been able to. I mean, it's the same distance based on the fact that he opened his legs right now a little bit. But what I'm trying to say, maybe from the beginning point, he's not gonna be able to attack as far as he could, but he still has reach forward, and also, as you're gonna see, he has readiness on that forward foot to push him backwards in the case of he didn't find the opening he was looking for. Jan, okay, I just read your last comment. That's funny. You see, he puts that pressure forward, very relaxed, and the main thing that I feel that is happening right now is that he's gathering information, right? He's figuring out what is he doing. So I feel that at this point, the person on the right now understands what am I doing and what result am I getting. So I believe that now he can use this information to start now controlling more the fight. Now, a lot of times, and I actually was talking about this maybe like a few weeks ago, where a lot of times, the you see in Shiai, the engagement start here. A lot of times you can get a nippon from here, right? Especially when the opponent starts to move forward and you catch him in that moment and you attack. But you're gonna see that a lot of times the feet are very close to each other when they are this distance, and as they're coming in, they kind of start spreading a little bit more. And I think it's because of this is happening. They're trying to use that forward foot to create that pressure. So it's not that they are spreading their legs and just waiting there, right? They're kind of using the right foot to start the motion, but then if they have an opportunity, continue the motion rather than starting. Because this is the main problem where people tell you, when sensei tells you, put your legs closer together, it's not that you shouldn't spread your feet apart as you're coming forward, is that you shouldn't, like your base position shouldn't be out in the open like that. That makes sense. And if you watch here, when he goes back, see, he starts with the feet very close together. I think that this is a good approach when it comes to that. You see, this is the skill that I feel is very important to start getting for your own kendo, and is to be able to step in, change the timing, and then attack. Watch it. Watch one more time, slow motion. One, two. Very, very good approach. Making an opening allows him to not necessarily commit to the technique after taking that first step. Maybe he was in the feeling, I'm coming in, but he has a little bit of time by taking that step and changing the timing to assess, is this the right time to go? Is this not the right time to go? If it is, keep the pressure from the back foot, push towards the opponent, leap into the technique. See, one, two. Very cool, very cool. So I don't know why they do this, but I think that if I'm not mistaken, yeah, they don't do they do the ippon shabu, but they don't show it. It kind of jumps forward. You guys should watch. Yeah, you see, it goes around. But let's watch a little bit of this interaction here. Yeah, so not too much there to watch. But the main thing is that if you pay attention to this exchange in Jigeiko, how does your Jigeiko look like? Does it look like there's purpose on every movement and every moment of your Jigeiko, or there's a lot of, wasted opportunities, wasted time, where again, the engagement starting here and you're trying to bait the opponent? One of the things that I feel from watching this Jigeiko is that there is constant pressure. Now, when this happens, right? If you take videos of your Jigeiko and then you start kind of like getting bored out of watching your own videos, a lot of times could be because there's nothing really happening. And especially for testing, judges will see this. If nothing is happening, if there is like a lack of communication. And again, for me, what I'm trying to communicate is that I'm coming in. I'm always trying to let my opponent know I am coming in. So if I feel that this communication is gone, I feel that that's when, you start getting like ticks off on like negative points for your test. On the flip side of the coin, when it comes about Shiai, you always want to have that attention and readiness against your opponent. And I think that's why this type of training can be very beneficial for Shiai as well. Maybe not the way that you're going to execute the technique, maybe not the same way where you're going to take a slower approach. Sometimes you might want to shift the timing, and you do want to put a little bit of that, those baits and feints and stuff like that for Shiai, but you definitely want to be more aware and attentive of what's happening and how can you influence your opponent on doing what you want them to do. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Let me know in the comments. Because it's definitely something that I'm personally working on this, and the more I talk about it, I feel that the more I understand it. So guys, obviously, please share your thoughts and please share your ideas and your process as well, either here or in the Discord server. I have a couple of plans coming up for the channel. One of them is that I will have in as a guest Blake Bennett. You might recognize his brother Alex Bennett, but Blake Bennett, he has a YouTube channel, Kendo Coach, and he's been focusing a lot on the coaching aspect, or the training aspect at dojo and for competitions and so on. So I want to have him here to kind of share his coaching knowledge, and you can ask many questions. If you have anything specific or any theme that you want me to touch on, please send it to me, whether it is through Instagram or the Discord server. But he has a big resource when it comes to how to train. He's been part of national team for his country, and he's very well involved in the training of the national team as well now. So I'm excited for that. I'm working still on making different type of videos for the channel. Let me know if you guys have any ideas or any requests of something you want me to share specifically here. Especially, in general, whether it's Kendo concepts or anything related to coming to Japan, coming for training or studying or whatever. I'll be willing to, make some content about that as well, if you guys are interested. Sometimes if they're playing very defensive, you try to lower your shinai and pressure the hands. Let me process that for a second. Let's say my to-go approach, especially during Shiai, it is to kind of lower the tip of my shinai, and kind of, like, whether it is to make them feel that I'm coming for kote, so they have to defend and stuff like that. So definitely a strategy, but what I'm going to say is that, especially when the person is being defensive, try to spice it up and vary it as well, right? Like, pressure one side of the men. Sometimes I like to knock their shinai and just kind of get them to like snap off even before I attack, even before I come in. But the main thing is that ability to kind of have your footwork already in motion without necessarily being in motion. This is the hardest thing for me to explain, I think, because when I take one step, and this is maybe why I'm getting a lot of tension on my legs as well, because when I take my one step, I want to feel, let me make sure that I can see myself in the camera real quick. When I'm taking one step, I want to feel that my body is still moving forward. I'm still pressing with my back leg. So if I see an opening, it's a matter of me just lifting my right foot and immediately my body goes forward, rather than I am here, like I'm taking one step and then I'm here and then I have to like re-engage my leg. So that makes sense. So yeah. Cloudy, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. If you have any questions, let me know. But I wanted to share specifically this, and again, I'm at a point right now where I'm watching a lot of Jigeiko, but I am going to also start, thinking about how Jigeiko can improve your performance in Shiai, right? Like what are we looking for when we're trying to improve Shiai with a regular practice? Especially because in a lot of times in the dojo, maybe you and a couple of people in the dojo are going for the competition, but not everybody's going to the competition. Maybe they're not interested. So how can you benefit on each practice for Shiai? This is kind of like the goal that I'm trying to put in on these videos that I will be making and this these streams as well. So your suggestions are always welcome, guys. If you haven't, please take a second, hit the like button on the stream. Really helps the stream to get pushed out for more people. And again, we have, oh, I didn't put the video. If you guys want to watch the video on your own, I'm gonna put it on the chat. So I think it's a cool video. It's a good exchange, and they have a couple of good videos as well. So you might want to, check them out as well. If you have any questions, again, please send them to me. You can do it through the Discord server, Instagram. I have an email that I'm setting up a couple of things for the channel. So if you want info@kendotips.com, you can send me an email there if you guys have any questions. But I'm still setting stuff up there. Yeah. Okay. If you guys don't have any questions, I am going to call it a night for today because it's kind of late here. If you would like to support the channel, consider becoming a member. The link should be coming. Oh, member. Sorry, not members. The link should be coming up there in a second. It will. If you like to support the channel, you can become a member and also get a couple of extra perks. Right now, if you would like to send me some videos and for me to review, that's what I'm doing there for the perks for the members. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for being here. Again, thank you all the members for the support that I've been getting from you, whether it's messages and being a member of the channel, because I know I took a little bit of a few weeks break, but I'm back, and hopefully I can keep bringing them a lot of good stuff for you guys. If you have any questions, always let them know, and I'll see you guys next week, definitely. Guys, you said every nice having you back. See you next week. Yes, for sure, I'll be here next week. So thank you guys. You guys have a good night and get some good practices. Okay, take care. Bye.